We are Steve and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show.
We answer that and more. Jack and Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Jack Jill Show, entertaining real estate investment advice. I'm Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about working with your spouse.
What could be more fun?
This is a topic I feel extremely qualified to discuss in public.
It's every day.
Unlike most of the topics we talk about.
There's a new surprise that just makes me want to do it more.
So what should the title really be? It should be working with your spouse,
without killing
working
someone.
with your spouse, comma. Go ahead. Without killing someone.
Or yourself.
I think the title should be work without your spouse.
Oh.
How did we end up like this working together?
You know why?
What the hell?
Well, I have a lot to say about
this.
this.
We'll get into it in a minute here.
Okay.
Today's topic, working with your spouse. I'm doing it right now. This is the meat of the show. And she's rolling her eyes.
I'm over here drawing a picture.
I have to say this right up front. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Working with a spouse
Here it comes.
is a really bad idea. Jill and I have had to, my gosh, Jill, how many times have we had to sit and look at each other and say, you know what? We got to stop this. We have to stop. We need to change X
Right.
or we're going to kill each other.
It's amazing that we are still here together.
It really is.
Some days.
Here's why. I heard somebody say this a lot of years ago, and it really stuck with me, obviously. People who are in a social relationship or a marriage, they all see the end together, or they see what's possible and they see where they're going. They're trying to accomplish the same thing.
Hopefully.
And it's the same thing at work, or the relationship's not going to last that long.
Correct.
So you and I have a very similar, if not identical, exit/goal for all of this.
Correct.
Working together. However, we have a very different way of going about accomplishing that.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the problems are. So when you go with your boss, or where you go to a regular workplace, or you work by yourself, there's a filter. Like, God, I think this guy's an a-hole. But you don't say that for whatever reason.
Because it's your coworker or your boss or whatever.
For whatever reason, when you work with your wife,
you can say that.
That filter's not there.
Man, I wish we had that filter. Man, that would have saved a lot.
So my question to you is, sweetheart.
Wait. Say that exact sentence how you really want to say it.
Why is it?
Come on, restate it.
You say it. This is rated G show.
So, my question for you, sweetheart, is...
Oh my gosh.
On what
classic.
planet is this acceptable? There's days that you say things like, you're an owner. You can make that decision. And there's days that I'm not allowed to make that decision. It's funny.
To this day.
Like, what are you doing?
Jill and I, we have different offices and different zip codes and different staff. And every once in a while, I catch myself working on a project with you. And it always ends in tragedy. That's the real truth of it.
Like the show.
Yeah. It ends in a fiery ball of tragedy.
Yeah.
With any luck, we catch ourselves before it actually gets to that point.
Well, obviously we do, because we wouldn't still be here right now.
Right.
We wouldn't be laughing about it.
So while Jill and I...
It's funny now.
It's called the Jack and Jill family.
I was crying then.
Jack and Jill family of companies is what we have established here.
Yeah.
But she and I we don't work on anything together. This is the only thing we do together at all at this show.
Aww. But here's what we've done though, and how have we done this? Well, we have boundaries. We've actually, I think that we've set, drawn lines in the sand. That's your project. That's my project. Are they going to report to you or to me? Because we found even that can be not a good plan.
Right.
Your office, my office, projects. You do the data. We're doing the customer service. You're doing the tech. I mean, you have to really sit down and write it all out. That's what we have done, literally.
We literally have a piece of paper hanging up with the line in the middle and the stuff that Jill does and the stuff that I do.
And we signed it and dated
it. It works.
Mm-hmm.
It actually works great. Mm-hmm. It was a mess for a while. Mm-hmm. So, and in the beginning, and really now, I'm acquisitions and your sales. Mm-hmm. So, and that seems to work really, really, really well. Because I don't like sales, and I'm not sure you like acquisitions.
I do.
Do you?
It's
you
a
like
fun part. I mean, I don't like looking at the data like you do. I don't. For me, I don't. I know. For you, it's a warm, fuzzy
it really
experience.
Is. It's like I get high.
Yeah.
I get a data high.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good name for a show. Data high.
I kind of. Oh, that is good. I like that. That's a good one too. I can use that like my data is the new bacon. I had fun with that. We got so much traction out of that. If you didn't see that on my social media, it was. I put a funny picture of bacon.
I saw it. I love it.
They're awesome. So, data high. So, setting boundaries is how I think. I'm trying to. For me, the point of this topic is to save other people. We have a lot of people in our community that are doing this as husband and wife. Why? Because they're starting out. It's a side gig, and they can afford to hire anybody.
That's right.
So they're looking around, going, "Who can answer the phone for me?" And it's often the other person. So that's. I want to help and save them, and be successful. So for us, like Jack said, dividing things up, and for us, even putting it on paper. I also think too for us is like having safe areas. We still bring this up. I do anyway. Like I'll say things. Should we really be talking about business right now at the dinner table?
That's right, Joe.
And I don't like doing that.
You got to have rules. Mm-hmm. I don't like to do it either.
Right, and especially not before coffee, because that's really not good.
And the whole thing about, do you really want the girl that you're in love with? Do you really want to talk about business all day and work with her all day and then go out to dinner with her? You just don't.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of that, we can't spend too much time with that person. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, you want to be missed.
And then you got to ask yourself this. Is this, sometimes people move in together because it's cheaper.
Right.
That's a bad idea.
That's a really bad idea. You're right.
So sometimes people work together because it's cheaper, and it's just as bad of an idea.
Yeah.
What you really have to do, and this is true in our case, which is why we do it, Jill's just really, really, really good at this. I literally cannot think of anybody who would be better to sell our owned real estate than
Thank you.
And I mean that.
We
have other people doing it that work for Jill, and some of the acquisition people work for me, and they're pretty good at it, but it's not like us.
Right.
And that's okay.
Exactly.
And I don't know anybody that can crunch the data better than me and price it and get it out.
No one on the planet.
So it really, really works. It is worth it. It's worth the risk. Let's call it a risk, because you are really, all kidding aside, taking a relationship risk by working with your spouse.
It's true. That's very true. The percentages, I'm sure, people that make it are not really high.
What do you think? I should have looked it up before we did the show. What do you think? I bet it's like 10% of the time it works.
That's the number I was throwing around. I was thinking less than 10.
And I really think it's all because there's no rules. The failure rate's so high, I'm sure, because people are just staring at each other all day.
Yeah. Yeah, what makes it difficult? Let me see here. Because stuff will happen.
It's going to happen no matter what. It happens with us.
Sometimes it's because you're sleeping with that person. You kind of have this sense of, like you say, I guess the no filter part. Mm-hmm. Like, I should be able to talk about this when you probably shouldn't.
So this begs another question. Do you think that there's just people out there that never have any confrontation at all, and they're honest with each other? Do you think there's people that are married that have some type of, Mayberry type marriage, and everything's just sweet?
No.
I don't think so either. I don't think it exists.
No, you can't have one without the other.
I don't think it exists.
If there is no confrontation, I don't think that is possible anyway.
Then there's no real...
Then you're married to a wet noodle.
Exactly.
That all they do is say yes to everything, and nobody wants that.
No, you don't want that.
So...
you don't even want an employee to just be a yes man.
Exactly. So yeah, and then to have it... What was the wording that you said? And be honest with yourself. Have no confrontation and still be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
and the person. That's not possible.
That's what I think, Jill. Thank you. That's what I think. So that's the social structure of a relationship. Crossing those lines is not healthy.
Yeah, I like that. So
The
you have to
functionality
balance
is different.
that.
Yeah.
You have to balance. And sometimes, you know what? I'm here to tell you there's times that you should not be honest and you should keep stuff to yourself. Seriously. You think I'm kidding?
No, I just thought about 6 of them right now.
What do you think I do all day, dear?
Sometimes Jill says stuff like this to me. The inside of my cheek is bleeding because I'm biting my tongue so hard right now to not tell you what I really think. And I do the same thing.
Yep.
And it's always work stuff. It's never at home.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly right. Yep. I've told that to children and other people.
Yep.
If you have to bite you're gonna, whatever, cut your tongue, do it.
Cut your tongue.
Or something. You know what I mean. Don't say it. Just sometimes things are better left unsaid. How's that?
So, do you think there's any area where we could improve on this?
Always.
Yeah, me too.
We'll never be perfect at it. And that's just the way it is. There's a yin and a yang. There's good days, there's bad days. There's some projects that we have to do together because you and I have identified. That's one of the reasons that why we're here together and why we are so successful is because of what we do.
Yeah.
And I need to know what's coming my way. So I kind of sometimes it helps you. I know you don't want me to be all involved and up in your stuff, and I don't want to be up in your stuff. But I do need to kind of have a heads up sometimes of what's coming my way.
Here's what the line at that sheet that we were talking about looks like. Marketing's on Jill's side. The show is on my side. Acquisitions are on my side.
Sales are on my side.
Content is basically on my side, although Jill does do a lot of content for herself at JillDeWitt.com. What's on your side?
Sales are on my side.
Sales.
Customer service is on my side.
Yeah, all of that. All the website, like new business development, like new acquisitions or new product types like TitleMind, that's all on my side. So I get it all set up and ready to go, and then Jill's team operates it.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually. It took us a long time to figure that out. But yeah, you do. You queue them up to me and then hand it over, and then we take it from there. And if it needs staff, I hire the staff and get them up and going and get it running.
Exactly.
Like Offer Stoners. That's a good example. So that's cool.
This whole House Academy thing that we're recording right now, and Joe and I are actively buying houses in multiple markets, and we're just knocking it out of the park. That was all kind of like my brainchild. Over the last, we've always bought and sold houses, but not the way we are now.
Yeah.
And that was all kind of my doing.
This, you know what's so great about this, Jack? I got to say this. Side note. I remember, and it's still this way, people still look at us sideways like, what do you mean you bought a piece of property that's 2 states over? Seriously, they look at it and I'm like, there's nothing on it. There's a map. Is it really that hard? Are you worried about it? If there's a fire, actually, great. Now the weeds are gone. Who cares? So now we can really, it's funny when we're telling people we're doing it 2 states over and then starting to share with the planet how to buy and sell a house 2 states away. What do you mean I don't have to drive there? Oh, wait.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody at the yacht club recently, and this is what, long story short, this is what the guy said. I'd never want to put a boat in a slip. I only ever want it to be on a trailer. And I said, why? It's so much work.
Never heard of that.
And he said, because I worry about it. I worry about the boat. Like it keeps me up at night if it's just floating in the water. So my point in saying all this is, which I think is crazy, because
That's
I've never
really
had a boat on a
weird.
trailer. It's always been on a slip. And my point is triggering this is that people are really, really different. Their level of comfort is dramatic.
True.
So don't even think, we have real estate all over this country. We used to have a bunch in Canada too. I never had that thought once, like, wow, I wonder what's happening. Maybe it's going to burn down.
Oh, no.
Never, not one time.
Maybe somebody's camping on it. I don't know.
Right.
Big deal. I don't know.
But everybody's got a threshold for stuff.
Yeah.
Not once have I worried about a boat in the water. Not one time.
Isn't that funny? I'm that way with our children.
I wonder where they are right now.
I don't even know.
That's awesome. So my point is that
What children?
You and I are just very similar. We really are. We have very similar thresholds for stuff.
Yep.
I see no risk in this business that we have, and I don't think you do either. You know, I don't ever question, like, when we buy property, if we're going to get our monies out of it.
I never did.
Yeah, not one time have I ever had that thought.
Ever.
Even in the beginning.
You know what? And that's the whole thing about our business, you know, and for people who are starting out, if you have a question and you're worried about that particular property and you're wondering if you're overspending, you probably are.
Yeah,
don't
that's
buy
right, Jill.
it.
You nailed it. If you're concerned, then you don't buy it.
You should be running to the bank like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And you're racing to the bank. That's what we do every single time.
So in the question today, this 40-acre property in the county in Arizona that I was not supposed to say, for $8,000 is slightly out of my price threshold. I'm used to paying $4,000.
Right.
So, but I'll say it's going to take a little longer. I think he's going to do fine on it. If you can drive right up to it in a two-wheel drive car, he's going to do great. But it wouldn't hurt if it was $6,000 instead of $8,000.
Or 4.
Or 4 is good. And I'll bet you, if Jill got on the phone with the seller, I'd give her 10 minutes, she'd get it down to 4.
I might be able to do that.
And that's why we work together.
Exactly. I agree.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Do you think that we properly shared what we need to do? We did tell that. We always tell the truth.
If you just listen to our show, you know, and it just sounds like everything's peachy all the time. Oh yeah, we're printing money and we kiss each other at work.
That'd be hilarious.
It's just not how it is. All the printing money part's pretty close, but
right. It's not always. Oh, sweetheart, how can I help you today?
Like for instance, you know, I know you and I can't talk about work in the morning over coffee. We just can't handle it. We end up screaming at each other. So I just avoid it altogether.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny.
Talking about work at dinner, especially when we're out, is a real bad idea.
It is. We have ourselves trained now too. If any dinner talk, it's all positive. Like, I can't believe we closed that today. High five. You know, you want a glass of wine.
Yeah.
You know, like it's celebrating.
Right.
That is appropriate work dinner talk.
Right.
Any other work dinner talk, like, should we keep that person on our staff? No, don't do that.
The other thing too, Jill, that we're long past, and it wasn't like this in the beginning, is that I trust your judgment for the stuff that you're responsible for, and I don't question it. Thanks. And in the beginning, I think both of us questioned each other a lot because we weren't, we just didn't know what our limits were. We didn't really have any track record together.
Okay.
And now it's like, you know, do you question the data that I crunch to get offers out? Never.
Oh gosh, no.
You know, and I don't question how you handle customer service or customers or buyers to sellers ever.
Thank you.
Because I'm 100% confident however you handle it and the decisions you make is better than me.
Thank you.
Seriously.
I appreciate that.
And I think couples, they really can run into the problems like that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't expect your wife or your husband to do stuff that you don't want to do and then criticize them for it.
Correct.
And I think that happens in marriages.
Yeah, you can't dump all the crappy jobs on one person. That's just not cool.
And then criticize them.
Exactly. Not only did you take forever to do that, you did it wrong. Oh, no, you can't do that.
You've never taken out the garbage properly.
Oh,
stuff like that.
That's
it's
hilarious.
Ridiculous.
I agree. Thank you. Hey, share the fun, please, by subscribing on iTunes or wherever you're listening. And while you're at it, rate us there. We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.